For this next example for Unit 7 Lesson E, we're going to be looking at shapes made from rectangular prisms. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to split this L block or shape up into two rectangular prisms. So in the previous video we looked at just one rectangular prism, but if I look at this next problem, it kind of looks like there's one prism here vertical and one prism horizontal. Now what I'd suggest that you do, I'm going to go ahead and extend this line with a dash. Sorry, this is kind of trying to make it straight. And then if I bring this down here and then dash connect these two together, hopefully you can see how making these dashed lines I've created a prism here on this side, and if I cover this one up, I've created a prism down here on the bottom. So we're going to look at these as two different shapes. So this one right here I'm going to say is prism A, and then the tall one I'm going to call prism B. So my strategy is I'm going to split this up into two separate prisms, and then I'll combine them back together when I'm done. So strategy, split into two different prisms, then add the volumes for both. So if you need to write that down, go ahead and pause real quick. You can write that strategy down, and then we're going to set this up. Now, for prism A, we want to do length times width times height. Now in the previous video I did some color coding, so I'm going to highlight the length of prism A yellow. Now I'm going to say this right here is the length, but there's no number here. But if I kind of look around my picture, I notice that the bottom of this rectangle should be the same as the top, and the top, which is also like the left side, is the same as the 14. So we're actually going to label this, since this measurement is 14, this would also be 14 because it's a rectangle, and the top 14 here would be equal to the bottom of 14 here. Okay, so I know my length already. V equals 14 times, now my width is going to be this measurement. Oops, sorry, my highlighters are rolling away. This right here. However, there's no number down here, but if I look directly above it, I notice that this line right here is 19, so that means this pink one down here would also be 19. That's my width of this prism right here. And the last piece that I'm looking for is the height of this prism. And I notice the height would be this measurement right here. This is how tall this prism is, which is 12. So now I found all three numbers, length times width times height, and we're going to type that into our calculator. So we get 14 times 19 times 12. So the volume of the first prism is 3,192 centimeters cubed. Please, please, please make sure you're labeling. So all we did right now is find the volume of this prism. So we can just pretend that this one wasn't even there. Now we're going to find the volume of this prism. And I'm going to color code it again. Length times width times height. So for this one, I'm going to say this right here is the length. Now there's no number here, but if I look directly above, I notice this part right here is 12, which means this bottom would also be 12 times. Now the width is going backwards, so I can look at this part right here. Now be careful, even though I highlighted this pink, it's not the same as the 19. This pink right here is the same as the 14. They are above and below. So this bottom part right here is 14. And then the height of the tall prism will be all of this. Oops, I forgot to highlight my width pink. And I get 36. So now let's type all that into our calculator. 12 times 14 times 36, and the volume for the second prism is 6,048 centimeters cubed. Now, to find the total, we are just going to add volume A plus volume B. So add for the total. So total volume equals 3192 plus 6048, and we get 9,240 centimeters cubed for the total volume of this rectangular set of prisms.